I got to come here with my good friend, Representative Chipley. She's done a great job making sure that I do the right things. She lets me know if she disagrees aggressively. And as you all know, Commissioner Robinson came with us last August from Virginia. He was the Commissioner of Education in Virginia, and Governor McDonald was disappointed to see him leave. Also, we have Sherry Martin, who is responsible for economic development activities at the state level in rural counties, and has been hopefully here a few times, and knows a few people here. But it's a real honor to be here. We try to focus on three things as your governor. Step one, our kids need a great education. Step two, we need to make sure people can get a job. And step three, we've got to make sure the state doesn't do things to raise the cost of living, because if we want to have, we want to be able to afford to live here, but also on top of that, if we want to make sure that businesses can prosper, we can't have a more expensive place to live. So we've been fortunate. I've had the opportunity to appoint people from across the state. If you have ideas, you can get them to Representative Chipley, because she's very aggressive in making sure. She lets me know who to appoint. I only have about 2,000 appointments statewide, but all of them are important. But a lot of these appointments, they spend a lot of your money, and this is your money, your tax dollars and your property tax dollars. Whether it's water management districts who have the right to tax you, whether it's our university system which spends your money, state college system spends your money. There's such a variety of different places. So hopefully, if you have ideas of people you think want to get involved in state government to improve it, let me know. I have an appointments office. If you just call, Hannah runs it. If Hannah Casal, if you just call the governor's office, you can find her, but probably better is just call Representative Coley, and she'll make sure I do it, because I call her anyway. I know for a lot of counties right now, one of the biggest issues we're dealing with is not only jobs, but our Medicaid issue, because anybody that's on any of the county commissions knows that a bill was passed this last session that said that the monies that some counties owed on Medicaid, if it wasn't paid, it could just be taken out of any monies the state will send you. Hopefully, OCA's been to 64 to 67 counties. I think they finish up this week. But they're sitting down with the counties, and the commitment is they're not going to be sending bills out to counties that people are not very comfortable that they owe the money. I've told the counties if anybody gets a bill that they don't think is right, to call me directly, and I'll deal with it. Also, I know some of the counties are going to have a hard time paying the money back quickly, so we're going to work with those. We have to work with those counties. We did the right thing this last session. The legislature did. I proposed it, but the legislature gets to appropriate dollars. They put $1 billion, $1,068 million more into K-12 education. My first year, the federal stimulus money ran out, so we kept the state funding flat. For this last year, we increased it. Commissioner Robinson's job is to constantly improve education for all of our kids, because if they don't get a great education, they don't have much of a shot going out there. I brought in an individual by the name of Grace Swope, who worked for Haley Barber over in Mississippi, to run economic development. And there's some things we can do at the state level, and there's some things that have to be done at the local level. And his job is to coordinate our efforts and make sure we put ourselves on the map, that people want to know that Florida is basically the place to do business. We're now number 2 to Texas as far as perception of business owners around the country. And I've told Governor Perry that next year we will beat him, and we should. I mean, with all the things we have going for us. And we have a lot of good things going on in the state. Unemployment's dropped in the last 17 months from 11.1% to 8.7%. But we still have a lot of work to do. We have 800,000 people still out of work in our state. And as you know, if you saw the federal numbers on Friday, the federal numbers are not getting better. So we've done way better than the national numbers, but we got to continue to buck the trend. And the way we're going to buck the trend is be more aggressive than any other state. And then making sure we don't waste any dollars, make sure we don't have permits that take too long to get, make sure that we don't have regulations that are killing jobs, make sure we don't have frivolous lawsuits. If we do those things, the businesses are going to flock here. If we don't, then we're not going to grow jobs. And so we're going to be very aggressive at that. So those are the biggest things that we're dealing with. We also passed last session, which was not easy, an auto accident fraud bill which should save citizens of the state over $1 billion of fraud with regard to our auto insurance. So The way I've done this now, 2 sessions, I've been in office 17 months, and nice thing about Florida is with having representatives like Representative Coley, you can get the right things done in the state. But you've got to show up, you've got to explain it, it's got to make sense to everybody, and you've got to create relationships with people. And Representative Coley does that, and that's what I'm trying to do. So to your great representative, do you cover this whole area?
Well, and actually, I currently do not even represent Washington County, so it is an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. The redistricting will put me in District 5, hopefully. But it is a pleasure. We have worked hard together for rural communities. And folks, I am extremely grateful that the governor has taken time just to come sit down and have a conversation with us, because rural communities are affected differently by the things that we do in the legislature. And that has been a message that I have tried to drive home both to our governor and to the legislature as well. And I know Representative Drake and I both have worked hard together with that. And so we appreciate the opportunity that you're giving us just to have your ear on the issues that are so very important to